Thanks for joining me. I'm Kira from KiraWoods.com, and today we're going to look at the full moon that is coming up in September, the 24th or 25th, depending on where you are in the world. And I'm going to have a look at how I feel about this full moon in reference to the tarot. So I'm going to start to bring some more astrology into my channel for those of you who have asked me to do it, and also I'm hoping for the new subscribers it's something of interest as well. So this full moon that's coming up, it's kind of an interesting full moon because, of course, you know, we've got the moon and we think about, in the tarot, we think about the moon card, and it's reminding us about that it's time for reflection, and it's a time when perhaps things aren't being fully revealed because, you know, there's that shadow element of the moon. So some things are being highlighted, but some things aren't being highlighted at the same time. And so there's always this essence of paying attention to that which maybe isn't as apparent or isn't perhaps resonating with us from an intellectual point of view, but we're feeling it from maybe our intuitive or our psychic sense. So a lot of people, you know, around the full moon, behaviors come out that are quite perhaps out of the ordinary. You know, I know the people that work in emergencies rooms say it gets very, very busy. People's emotions tend to fly off the handle for some. For others, the full moon can be a time of very intense feelings. So people might have a response that is a little out of the ordinary for them. Now we're going to put into that. So this full moon happens to be in Aries. So let's think about Aries. Well, Aries is a very dynamic energy. You know, Aries is our spark. It's our passion. It's our drive. It's our life force. People often, when they have that aha moment, have a real strong fire element of Aries rising up in them. And you think, wow, okay, so how does this Aries energy, this fire, this drive, which you'd perhaps normally think would fit very well with a new moon? You know, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it is the beginning, isn't it, right? But this is the full moon. This isn't the new moon. So now we're going to put the energy of a full moon, of things coming to completion, of that sense of reflection, of depth, of diving deep into the emotional moment of this energy of this full moon, with this fieriness of this Aries energy, and think, okay, so how might these two come together? Well, one of the ways I find is to look to see, okay, well, if the moon is in Aries, of course, the sun is in Libra. Okay, so what do we know about Libra? Well, traditionally, of course, Libra is associated with the Justice card. So those of you who are familiar with your major arcana, or if you're not, go have a look at the video on the Justice card. Well, remember, the Justice card is about head and heart coming together. So we've got this emotion, we've got this heart energy of this full moon, and we're being reminded that that the Libran energy is about bringing the head and the heart together. So what might that be about? Well, I'd be saying to someone, pay attention to others in your environment. Pay attention to your relationships, because it is going to be about relationships. But ask yourself, what are these relationships about? Am I hearing what really is true about this relationship? In my communication with others, how am I responding to them? Am I getting quite fired up about things that maybe don't quite deserve that level of intensity? Am I truly reflect on what the truth of the matter is around a particular situation or a particular conversation? Does it serve me to address this particular situation with a lot of emotion, or do I need to balance a little bit more head into it? Remember, Librans like balance. They like harmony. You know, Librans love the situation to be, everything to be going well. I understand Libra have Libra rising. So it's around, we love everything working out and everyone being happy and relationships going quite well. And so when this full moon comes along, it's reminding us that sometimes, though, things need to be looked at with head, but also with that depth of reflection coming from this heart. So this full moon energy. In addition, which is going to add to this element of this lovely full moon on September 24th, 25th, is that we also have the moon is conjuncting Chiron. So, okay, so Chiron energy now is also coming into that. So remember, Chiron is the wounded healer. So it might be around these relationship issues or these conversations you're having or these interactions with family or friends or any relationship you have, you know, work colleagues, partners, that something might come up. You might find that you realize there's something you haven't fully resolved. That perhaps, or it could be something from your past. So it could be a situation where something you need to work through or to talk about or to share or exchange is going to come up for you. So that Chiron, it's an opportunity for you to fully resolve it, let it go, move it on, see what you need to see and work through it. Okay, we also have, it's a very busy time, we have the sun is also conjunct Mercury. So we're going to then really feel our ability to communicate, which is lovely for this Libran energy. So this Libran sun and this Mercury is going to help this moon energy, this full moon energy, to communicate what needs to be communicated or what we want to communicate. Okay, so you might still be wondering, okay, but how do I put these two energies together? This fire, Aries, fire energy, passion, drive, with this moon energy, which is depth and soulful. Okay, so I'm going to think about, think about Mars. Think about what Mars likes to do when it's in a strong water moment. It's wanting to really get to the heart of the matter. So look at the real soul of the situation or the communication that you're working in. Move past maybe the illusions or the superficial hurts that are just getting in the way, things that have been said or not said that don't really answer what you need to know. So look at that and see. Pay attention to maybe your dreams or your true intuitive self. Put the ego aside and look at what the true intuitive self. So bring that strong moon energy in to help you in these relationships or this relationship moment. And I always sort of step back for a moment and remember you want to use this moon energy to really serve you. Yeah, right? You want it to be this wonderful opportunity, this essence, the strength of your intuitive self, of your psychic self to work for you in this moment. And you want to sort of take that Aries ability to do something about it, to work through, to bring your sense of knowing into it with a place of finding out the truth of the matter, to see things that are real and make that something you can then use and move forward and work and sort of complete something maybe you haven't completed, or if it's a new relationship, really bring some soul and some essence to it so that it can have a place to grow. You know. The other thing you might want to know is, are you being, remember with the Justice card, so this Libra and this moon energy is reminding us to remember the consequences of our actions. So that's the other thing to be mindful of, is that whatever you do, however you go about it, is going to have consequences. And those consequences will play out in your future relationships, your future interactions. So again, that's where that wonderful moon reflective energy will help you there. Because, of course, you want to approach the situation at your very best, at the very best that you can do, so that that which manifests in the future serves you or is as that which you might want. Okay. The other thing I think of when I think of this moon energy is around, it's like you might also get an idea or a spark in the moment. Now, yes, it's things coming to completion. So ask yourself, what were you working on with the new moon and what has coming to completion? But you might find that you get a great idea, a spark, a moment, a aha of how you can take it further. And you're sort of being helped to know, though, that maybe you're not fully seeing it all for what it could be. That this movement forward, this aha moment, could be even greater than the initial spark. So remember with Aries, it's like we get this drive, this idea, we're really excited, we've got this fire, this passion, but it's new. It doesn't have a lot of depth or full essence to it as yet. And so the new moon is telling you, but the potential is there. It needs a little bit of reflection, though. It needs a little bit of absorption. So know that, yes, it is a full moon. Something is coming to completion, but also something's about to take off and begin. And it's like bringing that two bits together. What have you been working on, ask yourself, that has sort of maybe reached its first level or its first benchmark, but it really has somewhere else to go. It can really expand and go further if you put a little bit of depth of reflection, a little bit of thoughtfulness into it. Bring your head and your heart to the situation equally, sort of balance that out. Heal any old wounds or any old issues. Decide, do you really need to carry that hurt or that worry or that whatever forward? You need to make those decisions. Is it time to sort of realize that you can let go if it's right for you? You might be needing to look at, so it's sort of like, so this full moon is sort of like something is in a state of being mulled over, being worked through. We want to stay calm. We want to bring our sense of utilizing that depth to let something really evolve, you know? And if you can do that, wow, what do you think? What are the potentials? Can you imagine the potentials? So that's the sort of energy you're working with. So on one level, it might feel quite at odds with each other, because you'll have these moments of fieriness, and that might make you a little hot-headed, you know. But if you can pull that in, if you can bring that back, you can use that fire, that drive with this depth of water and really manifest something or the potential of something to come forth for you. Okay, so what else have I got on my notes here? You have an opportunity to find strength in yourself that you might not even realize it was there. Strength of your emotions, strength of your head and heart. Wow. I mean, I just think it can be a really extraordinary moment. And yes, it's going to sort of all come to a place on this on 24th, 25th, but it's going to flow over. It's not just one day, is it? Energy's not like that. It's not one day. It depends on what you do with it, you know. You can really, this could be the launch of something. It can be the launch of something new that is coming out of the completion of something old. And this launch of something new for you, and particularly, as I said, in relationships, partnerships, interactions, communication, is very, very strong. So make the most of it, because that is what these energies are all about. And that's what energy is about. I mean, and energies go, it doesn't just suddenly dissipate the next day. So you can connect with it, you can meditate on it or connect with it, or just take a moment to absorb it, bring it to your head, allow it to fuel your head and heart. Take a deep breath when you're interacting with others. Really think about, what do I most want from this interaction? What do I hope to grow and develop and manifest and fuel in terms of the consequences of this interaction, these interactions, these relationships as I move forward in my life. I hope you found that useful. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me. You can subscribe somewhere down here. And if you'd like a private reading, you can find me on my Facebook page or on my website at kirrawoods.com. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.